Hey guys, how you doing? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. We got another video. This one's going to be an interesting PlayStation 5 article that I'm going to be checking out. This is talking about future PS5 sales. So the PS5 is right around the corner. Next gen is coming up. I'm excited. And pre-orders have already been crazy. I would be very interested to know some hard numbers ASAP to how many PlayStation 5 units have been pre-ordered, how many have been outright sold. Like, I am very curious to see just how well this has been doing. But an analyst has come out and given an interesting prediction in numbers within the next 5 to 6 years. And I was just like, you know what? This might possibly happen because I haven't seen a console generation be in such high demand, not just with Sony, but also the Xbox Series X. I mean, look how well Xbox finally did in Japan with a console being sold out, pre-ordered. I mean, they've had a hard time getting a footing over there. So this next console generation is going to be big to the point where I think we're going to see some astronomical numbers. Let's read this article. This is courtesy of My First Today. Which is a website I've never personally heard of, but they're going to be addressing something that an analyst predicted and said. So yeah, if this is your first time coming to the channel, why don't you go ahead and click that red subscription button down below, enable your bell notifications so you don't miss when I upload. So this says PS5 sales to surpass 200 to 300 million units in 5 to 6 years, analyst says. That is a lot of consoles to be sold. So it says PS5 sales to surpass 200 to 300 million units in 5 to 6 years, analyst says. Sony's PS5 sales are predicted to surpass 200 to 300 million in 5 to 6 years, with the console potentially selling more than 600 to 700 million units in the future. It's always interesting to see analysts speculate and come up with numbers and stuff, but again, with the way pre-orders have been going and basically how quickly they've been snatched up, I'm very curious to see how accurate this will be. I think this is going to break some records. I think the PlayStation 5 is going to just skyrocket up, and the Xbox as well. I'm not counting out Xbox, but just this whole next console generation is going to break records. So it's saying it's previously reported that PS5 will ship over 120 million lifetime units, but the Japanese analyst at Rakuten Securities Economic Research Institute, and pardon me for butchering this Japanese name, Norio Imanaka, said in a newly released Japanese article. So, last month the analyst suggested that Sony's next console could sell roughly 200 million PS5 units during the console's life cycle, but Imanaka, oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce that name, now predicts even larger numbers, possibly ending the console war altogether. So that's an interesting take right there. I don't think it's going to end the console war. Me personally, I don't do console wars. I love gaming in general. I'm excited for this next thing. It says, according to the rather optimistic analyst, Sony's next-gen console could possibly dominate the esports scene, with the console being the replacement for PC and thereby greatly expanding its user base over the console's life cycle. Imanaka writes that just like NBA fans want shoes from Nike, esports fans will want the PS5. And as such, Sony's expected to sell between 200 and 300 million PS5 units in 5 to 6 years. Machine translated, the article reads as follows. So this was loosely translated, I guess, from Google Translate. So it might not be completely accurate. It's probably paraphrased, unfortunately. So it might read weird. So it says esports demands hardware that is fast and capable of advanced video processing, not only for professional gamers, but also for amateur athletes and spectator fans. The high-spec, low-priced PS5 is for today's games. There's a possibility that it can become an international standard machine for esports instead of a personal computer. So, I mean, with the advent of esports and competitions and stuff like that, with how powerful these consoles, not just the PlayStation 5 again, but the Series X, they could possibly be a low-cost, efficient way to do esports. I know people feel PC gaming is the master race, and you're not wrong with graphics, the processing speeds, the chips, everything like that. Consoles aren't going to be able to keep up for too long, I think, in my opinion. But the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are still pretty powerful enough to where I could see them being used in esports settings. Now it says, while selling 200 to 300 million PS5 units will already be quite the feat for Sony, the analyst goes on even further by saying that data suggests the console could end up selling up to 600 to 700 million units during its lifetime, which is 4 to 5 times the number of total PS2 sales. PS2 was pretty good, skyrocketing. The data suggests the number of PS5s could reach the order of 600 or 700 million in the future. This article just keeps repeating itself. 4 or 5 times the number of PS2s, which was the highest number ever for home video game consoles. Mr. Imanaka said if the number transfers from PS4, which is backwards compatible, is about 120 million, and if more than 100 million esports competition population and 400 million spectator population are added, PS5 will be 6 in total. It can be a market of more than 100 million units. So I guess this person's saying if everybody that owns a PS4, which was what, 120 million? I don't even know what the figures were. If everybody that owns a PS4 transfers over to PS5, plus the new people, plus esports competitions buying up PS5s, they could definitely sell a lot. So it says the article also mentions that Sony's upcoming next-gen console has the potential to become the Terminator of the gaming industry, ending the long-running console war between Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. I disagree with that hot take that we're about to read here. I disagree with this hot take. So it says PS5 is headed to a total different dimension. So different from Switch, Xbox, or even PS4. The translated text via Bloomberg reads, PS5 could be a Terminator of the game industry, ending the long-running console war. PS5 will be a whole new symbolic tower for Sony Group. That whole ending the console war thing, I doubt that. I don't think it's going to put Sony bankrupting, Nintendo or even Microsoft. I think we're still going to have quote-unquote console wars. Nintendo seems to be doing its own thing anyway. I don't think there's any reason to even put Nintendo into that equation, although there's the rumors of the Switch Pro coming out this next year, which I'm still interested to see if that's going to be something that actually happens or not. I think regardless of what you pick for your console, whether you're a Microsoft guy or a Sony guy, I think this next console generation is definitely going to break records. It's going to be fun to see. It's an exciting time. I've never been this hyped for a console generation than this one. So guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think they could surpass 200 or 300 million units in 5 to 6 years? Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, guys. I'll see y'all on the next video. Thanks a lot.